now we are going to start our session in the new hybrid teaching forms with Paloma Taltabul de la Paz, with the role of new analytical methods for the real estate market analysis and how to teach them. So the screen is yours, Paloma.
Thank you very much. Can I share my screen? Oh, here. Well, here's my presentation. Not sure that you see it properly. Can you see my presentation?
Yes.
Okay, let's go on. I try to use less than 15 minutes. And my presentation is more than a reflection of what is going to come and what we should do in these years, right? So I'm going to talk about the effects of COVID and how COVID has changed our minds, and present you a case study of one of the courses I teach, which is housing economics, and well, propose, ask you for your opinion. So last 2 years, the main attention went given to the ways to teach due to the COVID. So we have to close our rooms, send our students to home and say, well, we have to teach online after a very, very long tradition, at least in our case, teaching face-to-face. So teaching face-to-face was very well done because we have a lot of habits, but now immediately in just a few weeks change. And we have to deal with another problem, which was students and teaching isolation. In front of the screen has created a different way to teach, a different way to learn, and other problems. Problems related to personal relationship that reduce our abilities to transmit information and knowledge to the students, because the students were simply outside the room and in the other side of the screen. So we pay a lot of efforts to try to solve this first problem, because it was a immediate problem, but we forgot, from my view, crucial issues. Crucial issues was the changes that was happening before COVID in our areas in terms of new complementary or basic knowledge change just disappear from our efforts and perspectives. And this is something that I bring again here. Do we have to include new tools, new knowledge? I have put just one here. For instance, from artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence has created new tools that are very important for real estate. So this created two worries for me. First of all was the worry due to the COVID that make us to change the methods every 6 months, from face-to-face to online, from online to hybrid, from hybrid to face-to-face. And now I'm not sure, I'm in face-to-face now, but I'm not sure what is going to happen after January. Probably I'm going back again to, well, who knows? COVID is still around, right? This has given us positive things. Positive things is the increase of the amount of resources for teaching that grow exponentially. And most of our colleagues have shared the resources with each other. So we have much more sources to use for teaching than before. This is quite positive, but not all of them are free as access. This is pity. Because our students cannot use them, right? But the second worry started before COVID was the fact that there was a dramatic change in methodologies that start to compete with the traditional methodologies we use in our teaching. So real estate normally use econometrics, regressions, and financial estimation and calculation. So we almost control all these methods, and we almost found before the COVID the way to introduce these methodologies into the contents of our subjects, right? But the engineers, data engineers introduce a lot of new tools, machine learning. We have been discussing about these tools the previous two education seminars, and but not only tools. At the same time, the society is changing and appear new hot topics that also strongly impact to real estate area, right? Energy decarbonization, financial market evolution, the new financial market evolution, sustainability, buildings. So this is all new. And two new areas, tools, and contents require changes in our subjects. And this is what I'm looking for, evidence, experiences, and so on. Both areas are quite specialized, but very important for real estate companies. So we are forced to introduce this new knowledge and these new techniques into our subjects, right? So what type of specialized knowledge we have, requirements are in real estate? For instance, if we talk about the artificial intelligence methods, the need of data in real estate, increasing need of data, makes that we should give our students some, how to say, essentials about how to compute scraping data, or how to analyze and apply with conventional models, but also the new contents we force us to introduce what sustainable energy buildings, what decarbonization, or investment cycle that is coming in this decade due to the decarbonization requirements, or new problems with lack of affordability. And how to do this in a subject or in a group of subjects focus on real estate that has limited in terms of the time devoted for teaching, and has to maintain like a maintain the be respected to the time that the students have to devote to our subject, because they are another subjects and not charge of work to our students. Also in our courses that we have students from different origins, both in specialization and backgrounds, and different skills in the same groups. How to do that? So let me give you my experience and my problems, how to do that. I'm teaching a subject which is called Housing Economics. It's in a master course. The master course is in Applied Economics. So there are other areas. Housing is one, housing real estate, but there are, I don't know, labor market and other areas, right? And it's one subject in the second semester, another real estate contents. It's true that that there are two compulsory subjects in analytical techniques, but I'm not sure that my colleagues are very expert on machine learning. So there are 10 credits in total, first and second semester. IT is the second, the one in second, so I can help on, in this. And one of the regulation we have, which is compulsory, and our regulation is approved by the central government, and the central government control us whether or not we apply the guides, the teaching guides. 50% of theory and 50% of apply. So all the theory we explain, we have to apply to real cases and teach this to the students. And the other characteristic is that our students to any master course in Spain could come from different fields. In our case, we have students from economics, business, sociology, engineering, law, and philosophy, and others sometimes. So it makes it very complex to have common background in the students to explain explain properly the tools to be applied to the theoretical parts. So let me show you just, I'm not sure if it works. This is the structure, general structure of the subject is housing and real estate economics, an introduction which is general, a focus on housing market and non-residential real estate. So it's the very traditional structure. And we put in the first part, real estate and construction. Not sure if this work. Could you see this? Could you see this new? Please just confirm it.
Yes.
Could you? Yes. Oh, that's perfect. I didn't know if it works. So when we define and so on in real estate and construction sector, we make them to learn methods of market analysis, time series, cycles, prediction methods, using aggregate data. When we explain macro and micro dimensions of housing market and real estate, we work with micro data. And we make them to learn some of analysis, random gradient analysis, regressions. Those that come from economics, they have studied econometrics, but those that cannot, they have not seen econometrics in their lives. So, and when we talk about land market perspective, so we explain spatial analysis, and we introduce them to spatial econometrics and make them to use a bit more intensively the spatial perspective, right? When we talk about housing market, we make them to learn hedonic models, housing units and housing services, rental market, property markets, which is working basically with microdata, and housing supply and demand, microdata regression, spatial analysis. And when we talk about non-residential, we make them to learn financial analysis, in real estate sector, spatial analysis and sustainable real estate principles is quite complex. I want to show you later, right? So this is the basic. Can you see my presentation now?
Yes.
Yes, good. This is working. So this creates like a very different frameworks of tools and techniques and data. They have to use, learn, and develop some kind of abilities to use it in the next. So time series, spatial analysis, new methods, and aggregate, and data, new data. So what happened with this in 5 credits time? So I think that the new techniques should be added for this because it's required. So I have to add to all these previous tools that, well, my students at the end of the course know some of them, have probably specialized in some of them that they like more, but now I have to introduce this. I have had many discussions with my colleagues, and all of them say, well, artificial intelligence should be included on the subject. And I'm thinking how to
2 minutes, Paloma.
2 minutes, I'm finishing. Let them learn how to scrape data, the correct data they need, or how they could learn to run random forest or run any machine learning tool. So what we think we will find is this expression of our students, and this is what I'm bringing here. If some of you have some experience of this, please help me. Do you think that we can help them to learn in 5 credits or in 10? All these new tools which require for the data analyst more than 5 years studies is a degree. And are we going through a new design of real estate courses or degrees? Probably we need to go back and not define real estate courses, but redefine the degrees. So are you thinking that we are going to a degree that is not economics, but is a mix between artificial intelligence tools and economics? What about the remote teachings materials? Should the theory components evolve to include these new concepts? So experiences, please, is what I expect to receive here, and receive your opinions, because from my view, this is quite difficult. It's difficult not because we are not prepared to explain the machine learning tools, because there's no time, and the students need to learn properly the techniques they are going to use in their future, professional future in real estate, in the real estate fields. Thanks for your attention.
Well, thank you, Paloma. The wonderful part on the, I think we will have the discussions at the end. It's going to be very productive, and I think we all have the same issues. So thank you again. So now we are moving on with Shazmin Sherina Aziz on online teaching and learning quality control and real estate students perceptions during COVID-19. So the screen is yours, Shazmin.
Thank you, Karim. Can I share my screen now?
Yes.
All right. Okay. All right. Can you see my slides?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much. Hi, everyone. I'm Shazmin from Malaysia. I think I am the only participant from Asia for based on the list of participants that I've seen. All right, so I'm from University Technology Malaysia. So this is my first time joining the ERES Education Seminar 2021 in this year. All right, so today I would like to share with all of you here about the online teaching and learning quality control and real estate student perception during COVID-19 pandemic. I am a senior lecturer and also real estate undergraduate program coordinator in my university, which is University Technology Malaysia in Malaysia. All right, so before I get started, I would like to explain a bit about our UTM Real Estate Undergraduate Program. So we sit under the Faculty of Built Environment and Surveying. It was established long before in 1975. Now we are in our 46 years. We produce graduates that follows a professional career as well as property manager, estate agent, fund manager, and facilities manager. I believe this is all the same for all real estate department in all universities. So our program is governed by the Board of Valuers, Appraisers, Estate Agent, and Property Manager, which is known as BOVIAP, under Ministry of Finance Malaysia. So basically, our program is being accredited by this Board of Valuers, which is directly sits under the Ministry of Finance Malaysia. So this is, I would like to show you, this is our student enrollment statistics. So for the past 7 years, we can see that even though there is a pandemic attack and everything, we still have increased the number of enrollment of our students. All right, so I would like to start with our program governance, which is the BOVIA Quality Control on Teaching and Learning during COVID-19. So when the pandemic hits, our board, which is the BOVIA, has produced a guideline on teaching and learning that should be implemented during COVID-19, which is on 8 April 2020. So we all the higher education institution has been summoned to produce a report and submit to BOVIAP, to the board, on the strategy adopted and changes made to the teaching and learning assessment. So what is the content of the guideline is that there are mainly 3 major things, which is about the syllabus, assessment, industrial training. So for the syllabus, all universities are encouraged to maintain the existing syllabus parameters, and any changes to the syllabus parameter must require approval from the BOVIA. And for assessment, students are encouraged to conduct at least 1 presentation at the end of the semester, whether it is face-to-face, online presentation, or any recorded presentations. And during this pandemic, we are allowed to conduct 100% continuous assessment with minimum of 4 modes of assessment. These allow us to to exclude any final examinations implemented on students. And then for industrial training, the industrial training is a mandatory subject that need to be taken by the students, year 3 students, which is usually they have to go for 3 to 6 months to sit for the industrial training, but due to the COVID, it has been reduced to 2 months. All right, and then there are several requirements. For example, for students who have fulfilled partial periods of attachment of 70%, they can work from home. And then for those who complete 70% of the internship, they allow the university to provide them with other alternative for the student to complete the internship. For example, we are able to give them few tasks or project in order to complete the internship, because they cannot go to the office due to the lockdown. So the purpose of this study, we want to survey the student feedback or response during the COVID-19 pandemic, which is on 4 things, which is the first one is online teaching and learning, online assessment, online knowledge sharing, and also industrial training. So this is a little bit of chronology of the online teaching and learning that have been conducted in Malaysia, which is on 18 March 2020, we have experienced total lockdown. All right, and then a month after that, the BOVIA have issued the new COVID guideline on teaching and learning. And then we have conducted a survey that was on 3rd February 2021, this is after the students have undergone 2 semesters of online and fully teaching and learning. And then now we are in the 4th semester of having fully online teaching and learning. All right, so this is the survey profile. So the respondents of this survey is the undergraduate real estate student, which is from year 1 until year 4. We have 253 students participated, which is equal to 93% of participation rate. So we can see that there's an equal proportions of students that took this survey. All right, first we're going to take a look at the survey finding on the online teaching and learning during COVID-19 pandemic, which is we want to look into the preferences and quality. And then for the preferences on online teaching delivery and platform, when we ask the student which method do you prefer for your class, and they say majority say that they preferred online class and combinations of online class and physical class. And then type of lecture delivery that they like the most is live online classes, and then followed by pre-recorded lecture. So we can see that even though we are conducting online teaching and learning activities, the student needs the lecturer to have a live interaction with the students. And then the online platform that they prefer the most for online class is Google Meet, and second one is WebEx meeting. I think the reason for them to prefer the WebEx meeting is because in university, all the lecturers is given one account of WebEx account in order to conduct the teaching online and teaching activities. And then their overall satisfaction on online platform, they are satisfied. And then we ask them about the online teaching quality for overall online teaching and learning activities during COVID-19. They said it is good, the quality is good, and it is also moderate. So you know that we cannot say that we are that good, the quality is that good, because the moderate is also at the same level as good. All right, and then the quality of online teaching delivery during COVID-19 in terms of when we talk about the delivery of the lecture itself, again, the answer is quite similar, which is it is good and moderate. Right, and then this is student feedback on overall online teaching and learning. When we ask them what do you like the most in online teaching and learning during this pandemic, they say this is the main reason, which is flexible of time, no final examinations. They can eat and drink during classes. They can refer to the pre-recorded lecture, and then they can see that the lecturer have put extra effort to make sure that students understand, because we cannot see the student face because they are not in front of us. And sometimes when we conduct online class, they have to close their video because of the internet problem. All right. And then what they dislike the most during the online teaching and learning during this pandemic is the major thing, the major obstacle in teaching and learning during this pandemic is again the same as anybody in any university, especially in developing countries like Malaysia, is the internet connection. When we survey on the internet connection, the internet connection and speed during online class is only at moderate level, right? It's not even at a good level, right? And then sometimes they also say that their assignment become more because less of group activities and interaction and so on. All right, and then we move on to the online assessment, which is we want to look into the student preferences and quality. All right, and then when we ask them, all right, do you prefer to have online final exam? And majority of them said no. All right, they don't like examination, I think. And then when it's online, it will be quite difficult, and the process is quite long and tiring and quite rigid. And then do you prefer to make physical presentation or recorded video presentation? And they say that most of them, majority of them like to make a recorded video presentation because according to the board guideline, the student have to make a presentation, whether it is physical, recorded, and so on. And then for the quality of online assessment, basically the students happy, say that the quality of online assessment is good. And then the satisfaction is also they satisfied with the online assessment, maybe because it is more easy for them, and they don't have to remember anything because it is all open book and everything. It's not a traditional examination. All right, and then we also, during this COVID-19, we also have put extra effort where we have actively conducted many online knowledge sharing during this COVID-19 pandemic. So we want to measure the effectiveness of this online sharing. So we have conduct FUSE, which is we have international collaboration. For example, this is collaboration with AMP Capital Australia, and this is with Indonesia. This is with RMIT University Melbourne, and this is for collaboration with Singapore and so on. And this is with Indonesia. And we also conduct online sharing with talk with local experts from the industry. So we have also collaborate with Microsoft, some expert from valuation companies and so on. All right, so when we measure the effectiveness of this online sharing session, we can see that when we conduct these sessions, majority of them students attended the sessions. And when we ask them which collaborator do you think can significantly help in improving your understanding and knowledge, they said that they prefer industry expert. Maybe this is because the industry expert can provide them a local case study which is more closer to them, to the neighborhood, and they can understand it very well. And then the student also responded that the online knowledge sharing session is very important for them, especially during this pandemic, because they can have this kind of interaction or extra knowledge, because due to the lockdown and the pandemic, they cannot go out. They are quite limited in terms of having the interaction with their friends and their students. Or then we bring this expert in order to provide them with this kind of knowledge. And then for industrial training, as I mentioned before, usually they must complete the industrial training for up to 3 to 6 months. But due to the pandemic attack, they only can complete in about 1 month, which for only 1 month they can work at the office, and another 3 months they are given the assignment, task, project, and everything. So the satisfaction and exposure for industrial training, they said that they have only average exposure to the internship, all right? And then their satisfaction is moderate. Okay, we can understand the reason, because they only have the chances to work only 1 month at the attachment industry. And then for job offering, majority of them didn't get any job offering from the internship company. All right, only 20% have.
2 minutes, please.
Okay, all right, okay. And then their relation with supervisor is okay at the industry. And then for internship arrangement, when we ask them, do you agree to replace the internship period with another task and project? And then they said, most of them said no, they would prefer to go to work at the workplace than being given with task and project. And then do you agree internship period shortened due to COVID-19? This is according to the board guideline, and they said they do not agree, because as I said, they prefer to work rather than having, do a desk job and everything. So this is the final remark. So we can see that the uniqueness of teaching and learning during COVID-19 pandemic is that one thing, this is when I observe in my university. Firstly, students have the chances to interact with international and local students from other university. Students can get exposed to global knowledge and environment, and also students can engage with the industry and have insight on the real world. And then some of the drawback of teaching and learning during this COVID-19 pandemic is that one thing is that students not well exposed to the real work environment during internship, which is they cannot physically experience interacting with people with the industry because they are still stuck at home. And then the second thing is that the internet speed and connections is the major issue and barrier for teaching and learning activity, because this is very, synonym reason for developing countries like Malaysia. I think that's all for my presentation today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jasmine. The great part on using the time frame. Thank you so much. So we will have the questions at the end of the session. So now we are moving on to the next presenter, Bartolome Morona, on the real estate education and the COVID-19 landscape, a case study of Krakow University of Economics. So the screen is yours, Bartolome.
Many thanks. First. Thank you very much. Is it visible? It's okay?
Yes.
Oh, thank you very much. I'm presenting today a result of a survey which I conduct on Krakow University of Economics. First time I made this survey 1 year ago. I was invited for the conference for the panel, and you, Kerem, was a chairman also like today, so you are always chairing the session. And then I decided I will do the survey, and I present the results from the Krakow University of Economics. And then I started to do the survey research every semester. So today I would like to show you a few slides and some results from this 3 survey research and show you opinion of students from Krakow University of Economics about online education during COVID-19 pandemic. I've got a lot of data, but I will show you some most significant results, which are mostly dealing with our main topic, so hybrid teaching forms. But let's start from the beginning. So, as I told you, the first survey was made during for the panel 1 year ago, and it was the whole semester of online teaching on Krakow University of Economics, and we had a mostly asynchronous model. So pandemic starts, and we introduce asynchronous model for the almost whole semester, because we thought like maybe all other people that pandemic, this is only a matter of a few weeks or a few months. In November, I made this survey. Then we introduced a fully synchronous model. So it was the whole academic year, the 1 year of education, both in winter and summer semester. And I prepare a survey. And right now we are in December, and we are after the winter semester. Winter semester is ending on January, and we back to our campus. So right now we got the hybrid model, but mostly we are dealing with students in our university, in our campus. So stationary, and only few classes, few workshops or lectures are online using Teams or Zoom software. Yeah, so this is information about this 3 survey research, and right now few slides with graphics with statistics. So here is a general opinion about teaching models on Krakow University of Economics. So as you see, mostly positive opinion we got during the previous academic year when we implement fully synchronous models. So 100% of our classes lecture were via Zoom, and students during this survey were very satisfied. I've got some feedbacks, but I'm not showing the data results right now. But look at the current semester hybrid model. We are dealing with students on campus, and only 47% of students are satisfied. And of course, I'm wondering why. So there were also some open questions, and I will show you and present some quotes, some feedback from the students as a last of my slides. But before I will do it, some 2 other slides about the online techniques should be continued after finishing of pandemic. So we asked students about it. So during the first phase of COVID-19, they weren't sure. Some of them said that, yeah, it should be continued even in the future. But right now, after 2 years of education, student, but I think that most of faculty are also sure that some elements and some hybrid technique will be visible and will be available for us even in the future. And to sum up this the survey research, there are you see the graphic and opinion about the online model and hybrid model, and most of the students, if they can choose, they would choose right now online model. And I was wondering why. So very important are the open question and feedback for the open questions. And when I analyze, and it was 45 feedbacks from the students, because in this last survey, we had response from 45 our students. A lot of answer, negative answer about the current system was affected by pandemic. So a lot of students still afraid of COVID-19, afraid of pandemic, and look at this response. There are only 3 examples, but I think that 20% or 25% response are mentioning about the pandemic and afraid about the health. So do we really have to stand up at the university for lecture during the pandemic? Or the hybrid model has all of the advantages of the stationary model, resulting in the inability to use self-quarantine if any of the symptoms of the COVID-19 are present. So if you've got any symptoms, you need to stay at home, and you cannot be at the same time on the campus. So a lot of answers, a lot of quotes I could put on the slides. I put only 3, which are in some kind representativeness of many response. As comes as a positive opinion, and because half 50% or more or less 50% was positive about current solution that we meet with students on campus. It was mostly, and there are only two responses here, but a lot of a response was like that they happy for interaction between students, between faculty members, between professors. So they are happy of interaction, to meet people. There are some people who who are in Krakow, studying in Krakow, and they don't know even single person from the group. And they got opportunity to meet them, to speak to them, only starting from this semester, so from October. Of course, there are also some other feedbacks. Very lot of students are negative about the current system because of financial aspects. Living in Krakow is expensive, as we take under consideration situation in Poland. Yeah, so Krakow is taking under consideration rents, housing prices, and so on. So there are also the financial aspects in response. Also loss of the time, but generally speaking, they afraid about the health. They suffer for financial problems. As comes as the positive issues, they are happy of direct contact with faculty and other students. And as you show some of the slides, there is a general expectation that some methods, online methods, will be used after the COVID-19 pandemic. I'm going to continue this research. So every semester I will do the similar survey, and maybe in the future I will have a good material for some manuscript with more sophisticated data analysis. So this is everything for me. I'm very open for all kinds of the questions. So many thanks for your attention. Thank you very much.
So thank you, Bartolomeo. Very good on the timing as well. And I'm also looking forward on this research since the last year, and how well you are doing on the part of the lecturing and online stuff. And I think you're doing it very good, and then the percentages are rising. But maybe we have the discussion on the second part to see that you're doing it so well, and it becoming an online thing for sure. So how it is really affecting in the end, because not so much every lecturer is enjoying this full online stuff. So in the discussions, I think we will hear more from the participants too. So thank you very much. So now we are continuing with the Daphne video from the BOSS to Delft. What we have learned from the COVID student perspective. So the screen is yours, Daphne.
Misschien dat die andere naar beneden.
Ik zie dat zij wel nu zien.
Yes, we can see the slide now.
Er is kans. We zien wel jouw.
Alleen als ik doorklik rekening naar krijg. Ik probeer die andere. Ja, dat je echt het scherm doet en niet.
Zal ik
That's okay. You can have your time while getting prepared on the which screen to share and other stuff. So we are seeing I think the second display.
We're working on it.
But that's okay. That's okay. Take your time.
Ja, en zij zien het wel, maar
Yes, we had the.
you see our presentation, but we don't see it ourselves.
We can see the screens now. You may continue.
It's working, we're going ahead. We'll walk around. Yeah.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm going to tell you something about what have we learned from COVID from a student perspective. Do you see my second slide?
So the microphone voice is coming very loud and then cannot be heard very clearly. So if you're asked a question, I couldn't get it. Sorry.
Working now?
Your second slide now.
Okay.
Yeah, second slide. Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, my name is Daphne. I'm second year student of the Master Track Management in the Built Environment from Delft University of Technology. And I'm also part of the BOS board this year, which is the study association of this Master Track. Today I will go through my life in, my student life. First, I will tell you more about the bachelor architecture, in which everything was on campus. And second, I will tell you something about the master management in the built environment, which was all online. And then I will conclude these topics. So first, the bachelor on campus. I will start the day at 9. Most of the time we had a lecture in lecture hall A. And what was really nice and the lecture in Hall A was that there was a lot of interaction with the teachers. And it was also really easy to ask questions. And there was less distraction because there was nothing else to do than just watch the lecture. But sometimes it was really hard to follow since you don't have your own tempo. And it was also not always possible to have the recordings. So we go on to the break. And that was also really nice that you can meet with your friends. And also when you have the meetings online, you can do it during the break. But sometimes it was not so time efficient since the breaks were more than 1 hour. And if you have no meetings or you're just eating your lunch, then it takes too long. Then we go on to the afternoon, the group work. And at the Faculty of Architecture, I really like the interaction at the faculty, since the rooms were really big. There are a lot of big tables. You can just walk by and interact with people and see what they are doing, where they are working on. But it was not so time efficient, since sometimes you have the group work and you need to wait for like 3 hours for 10-minute feedback. So the planning was always hard. Then I go on to the master, which was most of the time online. Only on Fridays we were on campus. And also at 9 the lecture start. And what I really liked that all the teachers made the recordings of the lectures. So if you had some troubles with some topics, you can just watch it at another time on your own tempo, or just watch it again and again. And what also some teachers did for the students was make some short theory videos. So from 5 to 10 minutes or so. And it was like the summary of all the lecture materials. And it really helps in the online learning environment. These 3 points really helps with the flexibility of students, because students also had a lot of other activities like work, sports, etc. But there was also a downside that students have a lot of distraction at home. When you're always at home, there's no interaction with teachers. And it was also really hard to ask questions in Zoom. And something else what was really difficult, the breakout room time management. Because when you're on campus, you can just see, oh, people are talking, so we can go on. But online, teachers cannot see if it was too long or too short in a breakout room. Then we go on to the break at home. And for me, it works out really efficient. So you can combine it with at-home tasks like doing groceries, or you can just go for a run for your health. But it was less social interaction. Then we go on to the group work. And it worked out really good with the efficient time planning. Because when you had a meeting, you're just you just only spend like the 15 minutes, and you don't have to go to university. For some people who are not living in Delft or so. And it was also nice that you can show your work really easily. For example, with calculations, you can just share your screen and everyone can see the calculations. And almost all the teachers made a meeting schedule, so you knew beforehand at what time you had a meeting, so you can just log into Zoom, and then you can have your meeting and go on working after the meeting. But I think for teachers it was really difficult to how do you say, give grades to the students, because only a small part of the process is visible when everyone is online. And it was not working very good when one person is online and the rest on campus. And it was really hard to show physical products, because everyone makes everything online. And communication is really important. What we saw that a lot of people were just asking in WhatsApp, oh, where's the meeting? Online, Zoom, Teams, what kind of platform? And then we go on to the final part, the online exam. For me, the online exam really helps with writing exams like essays or papers. So that's really time efficient. But I was always very afraid for an invalid exam, for maybe your roommate walks in, or some other things, what could happen. So that was yeah, the online exam. Then I go on to the present day, the conclusions. I will close with some takeaways. So for me, it was really important to focus on social interaction with the teachers and the students. Be aware of distractions at home. So keep the short videos and recordings. Be aware of time efficiency of meetings, group works and lectures. And take fit for purpose in mind for online and on-campus lectures, meetings and group works. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Daphne, for your timely presentation and a very good perspective on the different sections of our education seminar, on how you are dealing with your time frame and to the lectures. So now we have pretty time to just discuss the part on the presenters. So now we can turn the floor and screens to the participants. who would like to just have their questions or comments. I would like to we have one question from Annette. Maybe she would like to present the question to Bartolome in person, and then have their responses. So, Annette, if you are satisfied with it.
In fact, you already answered. I mean, I was curious what he meant with the health concerns, because with a hybrid model, because for us the hybrid means that students can choose whether they want to attend online or in person. And this is a really good solution now that we cannot have the density at the university anymore, because we don't have that many so large rooms that they can be kept at a distance of 1.5 meters if everybody is present. So there would be a health issue if we had the lecture at the university, but because they can split, and we have done some surveys in advance, so about out of a class of 40 people, about 10 to 20 will be at the university, and 20 to 30, depending on, chose to be online. And so we have a synchronous meeting, and it's exactly that people even can attend if they are sick from home or if they are afraid to get sick, and others who value the social feeling at the university and can better learn at the university. As we heard just at the moment, the last thing, they come to the university. So the hybrid works really, really well for all these concerns. Understanding hybrid in the sense I just described, and I think Bartolome means something different.
Maybe, Bartolomeo, you would like to respond on that in the second part?
Thank you very much. I already did it using a chat, but what can I say? Model which present Karem is much better, but this is only, I think, case of logistic. From the perspective of the university. I'm not responsible for the policy. Yeah, I am chief of department, so I need to do what rector says, and according to regulation, there are some classes online, some on campus. As comes as what kinds of the activities are on campus. So mostly small groups, so classes, workshops, seminars are on campus. And as comes as the lectures, so when we got the 100 students and or something like that, we do it using Zoom or Teams. So smallest groups in the university, and mostly lectures outside the university. But I totally agree. I've got also some experiences with a hybrid model, but only on postgraduate studies. So only with few of the percentages of our students. And I agree that it's a better option for all of stakeholders. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bartolomeo. Günther Meyer has a raised hand. So Günther, screen is yours.
Yes, thank you. Well, I have a short information for Daphne. We are currently at ERES working on a framework for such short videos that can be used for teaching and for getting back to issues. And I hope that once we started this, that the professors at Delft will join in and produce and submit some of those. But my question actually goes to Paloma. Well, the things and the issues that you described, are they really related to COVID and the pandemic? It seems to me they are more general issues that we regularly face when we design our teaching, and issues like, well, is this new development important enough to be included into our teaching? If so, what can we eliminate from our teaching program, and issues like, well, to what extent do we have to go to detail? What brings us to issues like, what is the purpose of university-based teaching? Do we really have to teach our students all the necessary skills, or is it sufficient to teach them how to collect these skills themselves? Are there issues or opportunities for specializations for the students? Can it be handled this way? So I think these are very general issues that we always have to deal with, isn't it?
Well, yes and no. The changes in technology, tools, and ways to teach is something which we have faced in our life. So is what you mentioned, that is normal in our activity. But the speed at which the new tools and new knowledge is appearing force us to not remodelate, but to think about how to don't lose the good experience we have teaching properly principles and applications. Remember that we are preparing master students, and they are going to the job market immediately. So we have to make them to learn and take the skills that are needed by the market. And as far as we know, they need to know most of all the skills associated to the contents I have explained. But the new ones are quite complex, so require previous learning. And second is very much required by the market. And the speed that the market is requiring these capacities are much stronger than before. So I remember that I saw the first comments of scrapping and applying machine learning to the new data sets. Remember that at the same time is institutions and statistical offices and companies are developing new data sets and more specific data sets. And in real estate, most of them are applied to real estate. So the question to reduce other areas to increase these ones is very old question. So we have to fit everything to the maximum time that the students have to devote to the classes, face-to-face or in direct learning or in themselves learning. Correct. This is one thing. And the other thing is what your point is. So they have to learn by themselves. It's not my problem. And you have to come to my teaching knowing how to do a regression, what means that, knowing how to obtain data to apply, I don't know, one of the exercises I say. Probably it's a mix of both. So I'm not in favor to reduce the basic contents, but probably I'm in favor to specialize the subject. So that means that probably my subject could share into two, if my faculty allowed me, and if the government, is in our case, the government accept the change, and ask the students, or this is where the techniques, the new tools appear, or prepare specific materials to allow them to learn the basic issues or the basic ways to apply a tool, to make them to, when they have to do the exercise, they know and they understand. I have no answer. So I have present this to my colleagues or the head of the master courses, and the response was, well, we can modify the master course, because if we modify, we are our university probably close it, so we cannot It's like Bartholomew says, we have to do what our ministry has approved. until the subject guide. We have subject guides where we explain what we do, what the requirements are for the students. The students don't read it, but our government reads it, and we have to apply it. So so this is why I say flexibility should be one of our goals, our gainings after COVID. So COVID has stressed this process, and we should apply them, because otherwise the world is running faster than us. I'm not sure if I answered you. I finished.
I think we've lost Karam somewhere. I mean, what I was going to say is that it looks like there's a new definition of real estate competencies from my end in the private sector, and education should reflect that. So it follows on from what you guys were saying.
Okay, thank you. I'm not sure.
Kerem is coming back, but from let me cover the time that Kerem can be online again.
Sorry,
you're
I
there,
come
okay.
back again. There's a short connection problem there. I'm so sorry. So please, please continue. Paloma, I've seen the question Karen has asked, and then Francois also couldn't keep up with the part on that. So please continue.
Maybe can I answer something for Karen? Real estate is becoming more and more specialized. I have heard some discussion in the central banks about valuation and how the formal valuation should be done in order to prevent excess of risk associated to mortgages and credits. I have seen how the real estate companies are increasingly using their data and buying the data they are obtaining from their own registers and scrapping other information. So the answer is probably yes. But remember that real estate from the education perspective is a small world. Although real estate as sector is very big. So yes, so I think that we have to answer the request from the market and specialize as much as possible our students in all aspects. It's not only for finance, it's not only for investment, it's also for valuation, it's also for housing market. We still are applying the studies associate or according to the agents 10 years ago with no data. Now you can find a lot of micro data that show you exactly where is the point where the housing prices are growing and not where the demand is going. So our agents need to know some tools to give our appropriate advice. So it's in all aspects. This is what I mean. It's my perception.
Oh, thank you, Paloma. Francois, you have the question also written, so we can continue.
Yeah, I've written my question there, but I suppose what I'm trying to get on here is I've got one or two colleagues who don't like lecturing, believe it or not, who thought this was the solution. You know, we'll send PDFs and I don't have to compete as being a good or bad lecturer. You know, it sort of solves that particular issue. But I suppose what I'm getting to, Daphne, is the question. University goes well beyond the content. You know, it's the university experience. that comes out of here. Do you feel that you lost that? But I suppose my rider here is, am I being naive, and does this get sorted out through social media? Can social media replicate what we think was the university experience? And maybe if you got one or two views about that.
Thank you for your question. Do you mean the university feeling?
Yeah, the university experience, the feeling of being at a university. Some people say, you know, they want to sit in a hall. They want to have the four walls around them and touch the wood, if there is wood. But maybe I'm giving away my sort of age here. But I'd like to have your view from your perspective. I mean, do you think that we don't need that, and that maybe social media can sort all of that out and give us that experience?
My experience is more that I missed the like the group work part at the university, but not really the lecture part. Since it's for me kind of the same online, and also sometimes when it's a difficult topic or so, then I can just click on pause and reply or so. For me, that's really helpful. But I really miss the university feeling for the group work, and walk by and see some other, for example, architecture students doing some other things, and for your inspirational part, it's really helpful to be on campus, I think.
Yeah, no, I take your view. There's nothing like being in a cafeteria next to a student who's studying something completely different, like the fine arts, and having that in interaction. Thank you very much, Daphne. Yeah, I was just trying to get how do we build that experience, or maybe it's no longer so. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Francois. Any other questions? Any other comments that you would like to? You may raise your hands or open your microphones, or any additional.
Can I ask one?
Please.
Eric, can I ask one from Delft to Shazmin, actually? I really like your presentation, because you talk about hybrid education and how students evaluate that or value it. You actually saw in your survey that they value online lectures more than hybrid lectures, but they would like to have the presence of an instructor online that would tremendously help their way of learning, right? I think that's quite an interesting one. So pre-recorded lectures not necessarily help to engage students, right, with the teacher, but if you have them there, online learning can be a very good tool. Could you explain that? How did you solve that? Did you have teachers joining or following up on, for instance, videos that were pre-recorded? How did you engage as a teacher with the students online?
Oh, all right. Thank you very much for the question. As for me, I don't really hear clearly your voice, but I can pick up the last statement. For me, as a lecturer who's teaching them, from the survey, I can see that the students really love to have online classes rather than physical classes, but they said that it is okay if it is combinations of online classes and physical classes. All right, but somehow they did say that if we want to conduct online class, they preferred the live online class rather than pre-recorded one. So from that kind of finding, we can see that even though they stay at home, but the student really need us to have a live communication with them, so that if they have any kind of misunderstanding or they don't really understand about a certain topic, they can easily ask the lecturer. All right, as for me as the teacher, I think this fourth semester we have conduct online a full online lecture for almost 4 semesters, including this semester. And for me, I think I had enough. I can't stand it anymore. I really need to get back to see student face to face. Even though if you look at the results of our students during this pandemic for the first few semesters, they can maintain their result. And in fact, because we don't have any final examinations, we can see that their marks are increasingly quite high, you know. So that's become quite a question for us, whether the online assessment, the fully continuous assessment that we implemented on them as been requested by the board, is it really effective, or we should come back to have the final exam, whether it is online or physical. So I think if I did ask around my colleague, and majority of us say that we had enough, especially for my friend who have to attend studio for architecture students, because we are in the same faculty, sit under the same faculty. So they had enough, because they need to have face-to-face with students. And even for me, it is very hard for me to you know, to make sure that whether my student really do understand the topic that I've delivered, because I cannot see their face. If I ask them to open their camera, then it will consume much of their data. So we have to consider so many things. And then that's why during the online teaching, for my personal experience, I keep on asking the same question, whether are you with me? Do you understand? Are you with me? Do you understand? If you don't understand, please let me know. I repeat again. And my as an academician, as a teacher, my concern become more than what I have done physically in the class. You know, when we look at the student face, we know that whether they are crowning on everything, so they don't understand us, they don't follow us. But in online class, it's hard for us to know that. And you know, and sometimes we in Malaysia, our students have this culture that they don't really, you know, participate. You know, when we ask them, they are very shy. We still have that culture in Malaysia. They are still very shy to, you know, to participate in the conversation. So in class, I can have two-way communication, because I pressure them to talk to me. But in online class, I don't know how to do that. If I pressure them, then I don't know what they are doing behind that screen. So I have to, you know, have a positive thought that they are good, they are great, they understand, and so on. If they don't understand, I encourage them to personally message me, and then I will entertain them personally. That's I think the best thing that I can do for them to overcome this kind of online situation. Never ending. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Shalmin, for your response. I think we have very good of the questions and the comments, and we also have 5 minutes over our timing.